Okay, I'm going to make a set of stairs. I've got a set of stairs to go in there. Now, I'm going to make these slightly different than these stairs. I'm not going to have like the string effect, which basically means you router it out there, put going on a riser, so it has to slot in to the side of the string there. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to do a different method. I'll put a few pictures on to give you some examples, but what I'm going to do, this will come right through, so all this area is going to be cut out. So, the only problem with this is, when you use a standard width string and you cut all that out so the thread comes across, you lose all the strength. That's your problem. Now that bit there is going to have a partition underneath it, so that would support it, but obviously when we get to there we've got a problem, because obviously this is an entrance, so there's not going to be any support underneath it. So what we're going to do, well, what we need to do is we need to make the string a little bit wider, the extra strength. Now that'll be supported by a stud, like I said. Up there, where there is nothing, we're going to put a piece of, we're going to make the string wider, which would then be able to accommodate a piece of steel, which we're going to bolt to the string. Now, this method, obviously you're better off using, we're going to use plywood, bonded plywood, because you can't use a string, because obviously you've got the grain of wood, it will split, it is no good. So we're going to use, we've got some plywood here. So we've got three types of plywood: marine ply, Chinese ply, Malaysian ply, and I believe we got this, I think this was Malaysian ply or Chinese ply, which was the middle one, which is structurally integral, so that's okay. Marine ply was a bit overkill, that's for outside, we don't need that. This is pretty good, this is alright. Now what I'm going to use 3 strips of 12mm, and I'm going to bond it together. These are 8 foot by 4 foot, so I'm going to strip them down to about, and this string's about 10.5 inches or so. I'm going to make this about 320, which is just over 12 inches. So that would accommodate the extra strength we need there, and also there where we're going to bolt a piece of steel to carry it on up into the first floor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rip these sheets of plywood down, and then we're going to bond them together in a staggered effect. So we're going to need, I think we're going to need about 6, is it? No, more than that. I think we're going to be about 9 pieces. Each string uses about 6 pieces, so we're going to need about 12 pieces, aren't we? Yeah. So we need about 6 pieces for each side. We're going to bond them together in a staggered effect with some cascamite glue, and then we've got the strings formed then, and then we'll cut them out. So we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so I've cut the strips into 320 wide. I'm going to do is cross bond it, so we'll have a piece in the middle, like so. That's the 2 outside ones. These are 8 foot long, 2.4 metres. So the outside ones. I'll have another 8 foot in the middle like that, and then the 2 off cuts. So I've cut an 8 foot piece into half, and that piece will go at the end, on both ends. So you basically got a cross ply, and then there'll be another 2 pieces on top. Again. So basically you've got 3 pieces sandwiched together with cascamite glue. I've already mixed the glue, as you can see, so that's fermenting now, nice and jubbly, nice and sticky. Cascamite glue there, so that's the best stuff you use. That's what you want to be using, structural glue. Don't use the PVA, use that cascamite stuff. So what I'll do is I'll sandwich this together. I've got my roller here, so I'm going to bond it all together now, and then clamp it. So I'm using a roller. Now I'm going to give it a coat on both sides, so this will get a coat and also the opposing side as well. And basically what we'll have 3 pieces of plywood bonded together, and that will form the string. So you get about 36mm with 3 sheets of 12mm, so it's kind of the same thickness as a normal string. I think normal string's 38mm, so a couple of mil difference, not bigger, but this will be a lot stronger as well, because it's plywood. If you use softwood, you're going to end up losing a lot of strength in that. So best is we're going to be cutting a lot of it out, because we're doing a different style. This will do the trick. So I'll finish this off. Won't bore you with the details. Okay, so as you can see, I've clamped 3 together. That's 3 strips of 12mm Chinese ply, Malaysian ply. Don't go crazy by marine ply, it costs a fortune. You don't need it. This is for inside, so it's fine. So Malaysian or Chinese. I think I went for the middle one. Anyway, so what I've done, I've clamped it down as best I can with the clamps that I've got. Now, if you're going to be using, if it's going to be pre-finished, the boards, and you don't want any filler screws, then obviously you're going to have to get plenty of clamps. I'm okay because this is going to get laminated later on, which I'll show you. So what I've done is I've just screwed it together, as you can see. So I'll just recap. So you've got a full sheet at the bottom, which is 8 foot, and then I put a half sheet there. So basically you've got a cross ply finish, gives it that extra strength. Those are all bonded together. I've done them at 320, so I'll put plenty of screws in. I will take them out when it's dried up tomorrow. I'm going to do the string now. Cascamite glue, I suggest getting a 1.5 kg tub. That'll be your best buy if you want to get 1.5 kg. That should be enough to do it. You don't want to run out on the job when you're doing it if you get a small amount, so make sure you've got plenty with you on the job and just carry on. There you go, that's it really, and I'll do the next one and I'll show you the next step after this video. Okay, so that's glued up overnight, so I'll come back this morning. I've took all the screws out and I've stacked them up on there. So as you can see, that's the 3-ply. So the string's basically 36mm each one, similar size to the normal string. Obviously you can't use a normal string on this because obviously it'll just split the way I'm doing it. So yeah, that's a good job. Just a few little bit of planing to do with the plane. I'm going to get a plane on now, square it up, both sides. So all the screws are out, all glued up. I just mentioned that I did use that Cascamite, that was 1.5 kg. I more or less used all of it. So you will need 1.5 kg. I might have to get a little bit more as well for another part of the job, but we'll see how we pan out. But that's the most important bit. Definitely use Cascamite. Do not use PVA. You want structural strength glue, especially on a stair string like that. So I'll come back to the video in a second. So I'm just going to plane this up now, make it nice and flat. So I'm going to finish that off. I won't bore you with the details by planing it up and sending it to sleep. So I'll plane it up and I'll come back to you. Okay, planed it up, nice and flat. Now obviously, one of these edges is going to go against the wall, which you won't see anyway. The one you will see, which will be on this side. So imagine this side here. So the underneath, which will be kind of here, obviously this will be replaced, and with that, and that'll be edged with some laminate strips. So make sure you keep one of these edges nice and flat and clean, because that will be getting a piece of laminate edging strip grey, which I'll show you later on in the video. Okay, so I've planed it up, now I'm moving on to marking out. Now, I've done a level, so that's, the stairs that are in now are kind of like the right angle anyway. So what I've done is, I've just took a level mark off that, which is that one there, if you can see it. Obviously, I just put the bevel on there, and that gives me my angle, my stair angle, which I've imposed onto there. Now I've worked it out. I need about 15 treads, so it gives me a riser, which is that bit going up of about 200mm. So it works out pretty spot on. So I'm going to mark it all out now. I'm going to cut them out with a saw. So what I've done is I've got the bevel, which is that, like so, and then I've got a piece of machine cut panel here, which I'm going to use as a square, manufacturer's cut, so it's nice and square. I'm going to use that as a square off that bevel angle to give me my going there. Now there's a lot of terminology I'm talking about you've probably never heard of before, but if you can find this information online. I'm not going to spoon feed you a lot of this stuff, because if you do something like this, you've got to have a little bit of an idea what you're doing. So you can find this information online. I'm just going to go through the steps of me making a set of stairs. I'm probably going to miss out a lot of things about angles and stuff, but I'm sure you can find that somewhere else. That's not a problem. I'm just going to go with a few bits and bobs. My idea is just to show you how to make a blingy set of stairs. Hopefully it'll turn out alright, but I'm kind of winging it a little bit here, so we'll just see how it pans out, see how it goes. And I'll cut these out now, and I'll show you the next steps. Okay, so I've cut it out on one string with a circular saw. Just trimmed it off with the jigsaw, get the corners I'll just do a bit of a demo for you now. So basically that's it really on that string. Let's see. So I'll do a bit of a demo if you're that interested. So I'm just using the circular saw. People might say, oh, use a router, blah blah blah. I don't need to use a router, just use a circular saw, it's quicker. And don't forget you're going through 36mm of plywood with a router, but it won't last very long, will it? So I'm just going to cut it with a circular saw. Don't forget this is going to be covered up anyway when the tread goes on it, so you can clean it up with a sander. As long as it's half right, it's not too bad. It's not finished. It's not like you're doing a traditional set of stairs with a string, you've got to router it out. It's got to be half decent. Other side. Now let's get it with the jigsaw. Cut the rest of it out. That's basically it. Ain't rocket science. Any snots in the bottom there, because obviously the circular saw blade is wider than the jigsaw blade, so I don't want a bit of snot on the bottom. Just get it off with a sharp chisel or a blunt chisel if you on a big hammer. So there you go. I'll cut this one out, and then we'll go on to the next stage. Okay, so what I'm going to do is router out a trough there, a little rebate there. That's for the riser. That. So imagine a riser going in there. That's your step. That's your going. So that'll just slot in there. It's 12mm. I'm going to use the same stuff as I used the string out of 12mm. So that'll go in there. That'll go from one string to the next. As you can see. So I'm just setting the width for the riser. It's 12mm. Just router it out. So that's basically it really. I'm going to do all the rest of them. You can chill out and I'll do the rest of them for you. And that's it. That's the risers, rebating for the risers. I won't be doing the top one because the tread sits right on top. It's 30mm, so that's it on top, so there's no need to router it out. It's just the riser that needs to be done. Okay, so I've troughed them out, as you can see. Just a quick note, if you are going to copy me, if you are daft enough to do one of these yourself, make sure these are opposite. See that? Make sure they face each other. So imagine them done and facing each other on a stair. Understand? If that makes sense. If you've done stairs before, you probably know what I mean. But obviously, you need to. If you imagine them coming together and they match, those need to face each other. Basically, don't want to get that wrong, or you'll be doing another one, and it ain't fun. Yeah. So going from that to that. So now I need to turn them over and I'm going to sand them up because obviously they're going to be laminated on one side. So it's nice and clean. These are the inside, so you won't see that. I've got the strings, they're all done nicely. As you can see, that's all done. Show you the groove, what I've done in it, and you can visualise it better now. So that's the groove, that'll be for the riser. That's going to be laminated as we mentioned. I'm going to lift it, that's going to be up slightly, up about 1/4 inch. I'm going to cut a rebate in the bottom of the going, the tread, and that'll slot into it. I'll glue it up, just makes it a bit stronger. Right, this is the top bit. Now, let me... Okay, top of the stairs. Puts onto the landing. Now, if you can imagine that being a traditional set of stairs, that's where your tread would be. Now, we've cut that out because we're doing a different style. And obviously that would be where all the strength is. That's where all the strength is against the joist, so it wouldn't go anywhere. That's on the traditional stairs. Obviously we've taken it out and now the strength is gone. So what we're going to do is, what I have done is, that's 45mm there. That was done so I could hook it onto the joist, so it had a little bit of support while I was working on it. And what I'm going to do is put some 3x2 across there inside. If I was to take it completely out, as in a traditional stair, there'd be nothing left, and I'd be messing about trying to hold it up. So this was a better way of me to do it, a lot easier to work with. And obviously now I'm going to put a bit of angle iron. Don't forget we've got no support underneath there, because obviously it's not a traditional stair because we've done all cuts out. So I'm going to get a bit of angle iron like so, which will cover the length from there where the studding is going to be underneath the stairs, across. I'm going to bolt that to that, and I'm going to put a joist in there, and then I'm going to bolt it to the joist across there, nice and tight. I'm going to use a bit of bigger angle iron, that's a bit small, that one. I need something a bit more thicker to take the weight, just in case. I mean, to be honest with you, I could probably get away with that, but I'm going to give it a bit of overkill. Won't do any harm. Okay, stair strings. Now, I said in earlier that I'm going to put a piece of steel in to carry the weight, but I'm actually going to change my mind now. I'm using a piece of 4x2. This way I can glue it to the string, make it a lot stronger. I've got 2 bolts to go in there, as you can see, so I'm going to bolt that to that. I'm going to glue it up and bolt it, tighten it up, and that'll do the trick. I'll do the same on the other side as well. Okay, I've done a few strings there, from the top few there. Pretty easy to do. I'm using a 15s gauge nailer, which is that one. I just like the bigger head on it. It's got a bigger nail on it than a 16s gauge. Use a 16 gauge, it's fine. Just make sure you put PVA glue on the back of it, which I have done. Plenty of glue, don't do it any harm. So I'll just take a little video of that. You can watch that, how it's done. It's pretty easy to do. I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out. If you're doing something like this, you must have some sort of idea, hopefully. You get a bit of glue back there. Like I said, it's going in that wee bit I made earlier in the video. Slot it in like so. All being well, it should work out. Now, there's my pattern there, so that's 6mm. Just want to keep it up. Just slot into my stair tray. Do on that side. Okay, on with laminating. So we're going to laminate the strings first. This is grey stuff. This is about 2mm thick. It's thicker than standard. It's quite thick, that stuff, because that'll get a bit of a beating on the riser bit. So you want something thick, if you can get some thick stuff. If you can only get the thin stuff, then you obviously need to put more support at the back. Down the back there. I'm going to put some supports in, as you do in the normal stairs. But I'm going to put some thick stuff because I've got some. I put a link in the bottom somewhere where you can get hold of it. We do have some in stock, some left. So that's that. I'm probably going to laminate the string first, like I said. Cut it out. I'll get a little saw or something and cut it out. It's quite thick, that. That'll take forever with a knife. You can cut. I have been cutting it with a knife in the strips, but on there be a bit of a pain. So I'm probably going to get a little fine saw, to cut out. Cut most of the crap out first, and then just finish off with a trim router. And then when I've done that, glue the side, I'm going to do the strings as well. So all being well, it should go to plan. Now, before I do it, and if you're doing a similar sort of project, make sure you sand it all, because I did use it with a little saw, circular saw, like I said before. It didn't have to be perfect, but it's pretty close. But you want to make sure this is nice and flat, because obviously, when you laminate it, I want to sit flush on there. So I will get the sander on it, and make it all clean, so it's nice and smooth edges. So it sticks properly. Okay, let's just begin. Okay, so now I shall put the laminate on the string. I'm just going to do the top piece up there. This is the small piece at the bottom, which is going to go to the top of the string. So I'm going to use this. I've got a tank, commercial tank. You can get this in small cans, a couple of quid a can. Don't use the Evo stick because it's very difficult to use on something like this, and that's old school. This is a lot easier and quicker. Top string. Okay, so literally 3 minutes later, let it go. So I marked it up where I need to put it, did it in a dry one. Just get it rubbed down with your fingers, with your thumbs. Yes, that is pretty much it. So I need to cut that out again, like the bottom, cut out the waste out and then trim over the router. That is it. Okay, so I've stuck that onto the string. I'm going to cut the excess out now with a fane saw or something similar. Also, so you're not going to be able to use the fane saw on standard laminate because this stuff's a lot thicker. So it won't rip. If you use the standard laminate thin stuff, it will rip if you use the fane saw. So you're better off using the standard knife, which will cut quite easy with this, the thin stuff. So yeah, okay, let's have a go. So let's do it. Let's show you. So I've got a bit extra on, a few millimeters. That's just above the stair level. Okay. So I'll cut this one out and I'll do the rest later. So that's the excess cut out. I'm going to trim it up with the router now, which I'll show you. Okay, so now I'm going to do the step. Now the step at the bottom is going to be a bit wide. I'm going to make it like 800. So it sticks out like so. I'm going to curve it as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some plywood, the same height as the risers, which is about 205-ish, 205, 210. Don't forget I'm going into the tread as well, so I'm going to router it out. So what I've done is to make the curve, got some plywood, I've got some slots like so. Okay, so I've formed the curved step, that's your main step. There, which is 800 wide. Just cut it and fold it as I showed you with the saw. And then fold it around. There's a few creases on the front there, which is to be expected. I'm going to sand them out so the laminate curves on there nice. Obviously I made a pattern there, just use a curve, or a dustbin lid, anything. Figure it out. If you can do that, you can do that, no problem at all. So I don't need to explain how to do that. Plenty of glue, plenty of screws. I'm going to put a few more extra supports underneath this as well, just to give it extra strength. And after that, it's going to make the step, so on we go. You're on the sound outside. There you go. Okay, so prior to making the oak treads, I need to trim off the excess laminate. Now I'm using a trim router. Now this one's got a bearing at the bottom. That's where you're going to need to have it. You can use a file, but you're going to really struggle because this 2 mil stuff is really thick. So you definitely need a trim router. If you're doing all this job like this, get yourself a cordless trim router or a corded one. Worth the money. You're going to really struggle to do that with a file, the thick stuff. You can do it with a file if it's the thin stuff, but the thick stuff, you're going to need a trim router because it's too thick to do with a file. You're really going to struggle and you won't get as good a job as well.